Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Monday with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. Well, it's another day, another Monday. And before we start the show, I want to let you know that this week's show is being brought to you. I have two sponsors this week. One is King Simon. He has his masterclass webinar that's coming up on October the 28th. That's this coming Saturday. So make sure you register now at Linktree / King Simon the Numero Veda. Also, when the show is also sponsored by Jazz Aphrodite. She is having a workshop coming up this Tuesday, October the 31st. They'll be posting, she'll be posting her link for how to sign up for the 6-week course. Let me tell you this too, for what it's worth. She designed, the one thing she have in common with King Simon and I, she designed our websites that have went big time on Udemy. And so I'm here to testify for her work. Please make sure you sign up. If you want to be at a high level, this is the woman that you should join. So make sure you join her 6-week workout. And when I say workout, she's a Taurus, so she don't be joking, okay? So make sure you'll get your vitamins and all that stuff. Get a good night's sleep, because when she starts, she is no joke. God bless her too. So that's it. By the way, before we start, I want to read the forecast for today. This is Learn with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of learning and enlightenment. Please share, like, and subscribe. I really forget to do that, but I'm getting used to it after over 2 years. But hey, it takes a little bit. Anyway, so as you see, I do not DM you for money. Anytime you're seeing something supposedly coming from me for money, no, don't do that. So today is Monday, October the 23rd. The sun is now in Scorpio. The moon is now in Aquarius. It's an 8 universal month, 3 universal week, a 4 universal day. So for those who happen to be Aquarians, Leos, Geminis, Virgos, or those that are born on the 4th, the 5th, the 13th, the 14th, the 22nd, and the 23rd of the month, well, this should be really an interesting day for you all together. All righty. Let me get this out the way. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, I'm going to talk about an old institution, the institution of marriage. Although in this country, marriage seems to be like more broken marriages, more separations than anything. So there are exceptions to the rule, and I will point that out later on with a couple that's been married longer than you can imagine, probably longer than most of you have done on this planet Earth, okay? But anyway, with marriage, there is some things I look for. Couples have come to me for marriage dates and stuff like that. So let me tell you how I do. Let's say a couple comes to me for a possible wedding date. The first thing I look for as a numerologist and an astronumerologist is, do they share a number in common? Because if they share a number in common, see, each month, each number not only rules a day, the numbers also rules a month. And so therefore, that would be the best time for them to get married. So let's say one is born on the 6th, one is born on the 3rd. Well, I know that Thursday and Friday, or Friday for 6, Thursday for the number 3 are the days that would be good. But more than likely, the best months for that combination would be March and May, then October and December. Why? Because these months rule those numbers that I just gave as an illustration. So let's say you have somebody that's a number 2, and the person they're interested is a number 7, and they both happen to be earth signs. Well, as you know, astrologically, there's a trilogy of the elements in terms of Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn. So this would be a nice mix. And let me put it like this. The months that you attract represents the physical attractions to you. This would explain why you'll meet a person for the first time and you just hit it off with them. And then you meet another person for the first time and you're just not feeling them at all. But it is the date of birth that represents the mental attractions. This is very important. So and I've done this for decades, so I know. And for example, if you give a person, if I say, well, what's your best friend? 9 times out of 10, their best friend is sharing two things in common. They're born in one of their important months, and they're born on one of their important numbers, because the months represents how we feel in each other's space. But it is those dates of birth that represents that mental connection. So as you women say, when you're having a bad hair day, honey, can we talk? All right. So this is very important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the numbers from 1 to 9 in the zodiac signs, so nobody's left out. So for those of you who want to marry, let's say we'll start with the number 1 through 9. So if a person is born on the 1st, the 10th, the 9th, or the 19th, or if they come under the sign of Aquarius or Leo first, actually in Aquarius, they will find that their best time to get married is normally between late January into February, late July into August, and preferably they should get married on a Sunday rather than a Saturday, since Sunday is much more friendly to this particular sign. The months that number 1 should avoid, if possible, is January, May, and October, as these be problematic months. Now, let me explain what I'm saying. I've done this for a long time, and couples will tell me, like, in their wrong periods. One woman, on that day, she had a cycle. You know, that's supposed to be the day for the honeymoon and all that stuff. But on that day, she had her menses or cycle or whatever it's called. Then there's another one where the family didn't like each other and they broke out into all kind of arguments. Another person I know, they had their car battery stolen on the day of the wedding and made them late for the wedding and stuff like that. So it's very, very interesting. But I will say this: these are the two books. On page 198, I talk about marriage, and in my other book, Lloyd's Numbers in You: A Relationship Guide, the blueprint to a cosmic blueprint to happiness and joy. All righty. So that is number. Oh, and by the way, they should avoid, that is number 1, people. They should avoid dates such as the 6 and the 8. Any dates that add up to a 6 and an 8. But I would tell a person, if they're number 1, to get married on a date that's either a 1 or a 4. Now, before I continue, what happens if the person doesn't have, or a couple doesn't have numbers in common? Well, I do the best I can, but my attitude is that women are the glue and the foundation to raising a family and maintaining a home. So if I got a couple and their numbers are not matching in the way that I would like it, I would always gear everything around the mother, and since she is normally the foundation of any home, raising of any family. Now, let's say you got a person that's born on the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, the 29th, or if they're under the sign of Cancer. All right. Well, first of all, their best stage to get married would always be late March, late February into March, late April into May, but especially late June into July, followed by late September into October, or on a date that adds up to a 2 or a 7, such as the 2nd or the 7th, the 11th or the 16th, the 20th, the 25th or the 29th of any month. And their best day is to get married on a Sunday. Now, let me explain. People get married every day of the week, but it seems like most of the people want to get married always on a weekend. Well, some numbers work better on a Sunday, and some numbers work better on a Saturday. So if you're having a weekend type of wedding, that would be one of the things to take into consideration. Now, by the way, for number 2 people, what they need to be careful of is any date that adds up to the 8th or the 9th, or especially in the months of January, April, and November. These are normally not the best months for the marriage. I mean, they could get married. I'm sure they get married, but I'm willing to bet you, when couples have come to me, they told me the month, I says, well, probably in that month, there was a little drama or a little challenge around there. And almost always they will say it is true. All right. So timing is everything. And what you want to do, especially when you decide to walk down the aisle of marriage, which is a lot of work. Okay. So it ain't just about courting. And then, okay, I got the sister, I got the brother. No, that's really when the work begins, not just leading up to it, but it's then maintaining it. And as you see at the end of this, I'll show you a couple that's been married longer than most of you in this viewership tonight. Okay. So now, number 3 people, if you're born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month, all coming under the signs of Pisces or Sagittarius, your best times for marriage would always be on the periods of late February into March, late April into May, late September into October, and late November into December. And especially if you can make it on a date that adds up to a 6 or a 3, such as the 3rd, the 6th, the 12th, the 15th, the 21st, the 24th, and the 30th of the month. These would be better dates for you. All righty. On the other side of that equation, normally the challenging times for marriage for number 3 person would be in the months of February, June, August, and September, or dates that add up to the 4th or the 5th. So the 4th, the 5th, the 13th, the 14th, the 22nd, 23rd, or 31st of the month. These would be more problematic. And that's not that you can't get married in these months, but if there's a little drama that goes down that later on up the road, you can tell a story about, yeah, like that was crazy. Because, for example, another one lady shared with me on the day she got married, there was a blizzard, and yet no snow was indicated for that day. So it just shows you sometimes Mother Nature will step in. All right. So number 4 people, if you are born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st, all come under the signs of Aquarius and Leo, you'll find that your best times of marriage is always late January into February, late May into June, late June into July, late July into August, okay? Or any date that adds up to the 1st or the 4th, like the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 19th, 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month. The best day to get married on is a Sunday. By the way, for the number 3, I left that out. The best day for them to get married is on a Saturday rather than a Sunday. All right. Now, of course, each of these numbers rule days. Like for the number 3, Thursday is one of the days, but most people normally try to make it on the weekend. But if it's a number 3, for example, they should get married on a Saturday. For number 4, they should get married preferably on a Sunday. Now, for number 4, the days or the months that they should really kind of like reconsider should be the months of January, May, and October, or a date that adds up to the 6th or the 8th, such as the 6th, the 8th, the 15th, the 17th, the 24th, or the 26th of any month. All righty. It's not that they can't get married on those dates, but more than likely, if you could look at the day that led up to the marriage, they will tell you there was some craziness going on. There was a delay or something. Everything wasn't smooth, because for a woman, that is one of the highlights or milestones in their lives, to get married or go down the aisle and whatnot. Okay. For number 5, if you were born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd, well, you were one of the last ones to get married. Nothing personal, because 5s love their freedom. Okay. They really, really do. So when you walking down the aisle with a number 5, you best believe the secret to you getting them probably is you gave them a lot of breathing room. All right. So for number 5 people, the best months to get married on is always between late April into May, late May into June, late August into September, and late September into October. Okay. Or preferably on a date that adds up to the 5 or the 6, such as the 5th to 6th, the 14th to 15th, the 23rd or 24th of any month, and they should do it preferably on a Sunday. Now, Wednesday is one of their days, but since most people opt to have weekend weddings, Sunday would be it. But if they had another choice, like say they went to Las Vegas, I think that's where people get married on a dime, they would do well, and I would make it Wednesday for them. All right. The months that are problematic for the number 5, if they get married, is always around January, March, and December. All right. And any date that adds up to the 3 or the 8th, like the 3rd, the 8th, the 12th, the 17th, the 21st, the 26th, or the 30th of the month. It's not that they don't get married on those dates, but they'll find it almost always there'll be a degree of resistance to them. Number 6 people, if you're born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th of any month, okay, you will, or if you're under the sign of Taurus and Taurus and Libra. And by the way, for number fives, I left out if you're a Gemini or Virgo. All righty. There's so much going on. I'm trying to think because all of this is in my head. But anyway, but for number sixes, and if you're born under Taurus or Libra, that governs the number six, your best months of marriage is always late February into March, late April into May, late September into October, late October and late November into December. These 4 months are your best months. And so you'll find that if they do, their best days to get married on is a Saturday that's very friendly to them rather than Sunday, which is not friendly to the number six. However, conversely, on the other side of that coin, they'll find that if they get married somewhere in the months of February, August, or dates that add up to a 4, the 1st, the 4th, the 10th, the 13th, the 20th, the 19th, the 22nd, 28th, or 31st of the month, that is likely to be more of a problematic time. But let me tell you, sixes take to marriage like duck to water because six is ruled by the planet Venus, which is a planet of love and beauty and balance and commitments and relationships and the building of families and things of that nature. Well, like the number five, sevens are normally the last ones to go down the aisle of marriage, okay? Because sevens like to be loners, all right? So therefore, yes, sevens do get married, but basically, well, if I got to do this, all right, okay. It's not that bad. I'm only joking about that part. But anyway, if you're born on the 7th, the 16th, the 25th of the month, or maybe to a degree under the signs of Pisces and Cancer, your best times of the year would be between the periods of late February into March, then late June into July, and in a minor way, late September into October. But also August is very important to number sevens too. So that would be late July into August as well. I hope I'm not repeating myself. But anyway, the best day to get married on versus a Saturday or Sunday, they should make it on a Sunday more than anything else, okay? The months to avoid would be January and April and November, especially on all dates that add up to an 8 or a 9, like the 8th, the 9th, the 17th, the 18th, the 26th, or the 27th of any month. For the number 8, if you're born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month, or if you come to the sign of Capricorn, and in a minor way, the sign of Aquarius, you'll find that your best times for marriage is always around late December into January, late April into May, late September into October, and especially on dates that add up to a 6 or an 8, like the 6th, the 6th to the 8th, the 15th to 17th, the 24th, 26th of the month. And on the reverse side of it, by the way, Saturday is the best day to get married because Saturn is ruled by 8, for which the name Saturn has been assigned to Saturday, which is ruled by the number 8. So what are the best months they should avoid to kind of keep a long-term marriage, okay? That would be the months of February, June, August, and September. These are the months that if an 8 person came to me, I'd say, this is not your best months. And especially if you're going to make it on a Sunday, because Sunday is not the best day for number 8s. And so also this would include all numbers such as the 4 or the 5, such as the 4th, the 5th, the 13th, the 14th, the 22nd, and 23rd of the month. And finally, for the number 9s out there, okay, if they were born on the 9th, the 18th, or the 27th of the month, or if they come under the signs of Aries or Scorpio, and in a minor way, Leo, their best times of the year is always between late February into March, late March into April, late April into May, and on the other side of the summer, it would be late September into October, late October into November, late November into December. Their best times for the marriage, if they have to pick a date, if it's on the weekend, would always be on a Sunday versus a Saturday. Actually, Tuesday is one of the best days to rule the number 9 too. But and I will tell you this, people get married every day of the week, and I'll prove my point in just a moment. So what month should they avoid? Number 9s, they should avoid the months of January and July, especially July. And all dates that add up to a 2 or 7, especially like the 2nd to 7th, the 11th to 16th, the 20th and the 25th of the month. So For those of you out there that is about to get married, or for those of you who've been in relationships and notice, and here's what I've noticed too, couples that have the same numbers, let's say both were number sixes, I would say more than likely you either met on a Friday. Why? Because Friday rules a number six, or you met somewhere around late May. I mean, not late May, but the month of May and the month of October. Why? Because those months rules the number six, because each month around the calendar is ruled by a number. So once I know that number, that is what I look for. All righty. So now to give you an example, I want to show you, because I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop the cam here and put this on. Now look at this. They have been married for 84 years. Okay. He is 102. She is 98. They are from Arkansas. They just celebrated 84 years of marriage, probably the longest active marriage in this country. Okay. And they got married on July the 24th of 1939, which was on a Monday. If you look it up, you'll see it was on a Monday when they married. So it doesn't necessarily mean they have to get married on the weekend. It is Cleovis and Wilda. They married then, and you see the ages. They are definitely elders, but the couple have been together for more than 8 decades, sharing their secrets to their long-lasting marriage, and it is because of their faith in the Creator and God and a higher source. They've been recognized by the Family Council as possibly the longest married couple in this country, which says a lot for us as African American people. So, so it's not just short terms. Now, let me say this. People don't even want to be together 84 days. And we ain't talking about 84 weeks, 84 months. In fact, 84 months divided is equals to 7 years. If you do 84 divided by 12, that would be 7 years. So when they talk about that 7-year itch, well, that means they have been through it, this family, through 12 7-year itches. Now, don't think they did not have some issues, okay? Don't think he did not work her nerves or she worked his nerves. The point is how you do it. This is why when they married, they say for richer or poor, for better or worse. And we always want the better, but we ain't down with the worst. Honey, you can go on home to your mother. I ain't down with none of this. So what I'm saying is that when you get married, so there's something secret, and not just God too, but there's the effort that they had to make. And if you look at the time they married in 1939, there was no TVs, there was no dating sites. Okay, you had to really pick and choose very carefully. And in the time they married in the late 30s, knowing they had probably 4, 5, 6 children, maybe 8 children or more, I do not know. I would like to look up there more into them and their background and whatnot. But the point that they married for 84 years. Okay. So when you think you got some problems, when you think you bored, okay, imagine what they did. But there's something about when you find the right connection, and you could tell the way they looked at each other. And let me show you this. You can even tell the way they looked at each other. Pictures worth 1,000 words. Look how they looked at each other. You know what I'm saying? That's something to be very, very proud of. And don't think that man didn't work her nerves, because I know how we men are sometimes, right, ladies? And ladies, don't think y'all didn't work our nerves too, because we know how y'all are too, ladies. But the point is, for better or worse, for richer or poor, for sickness and in health, that's how they went down. There was not in 1939 some prenup. There was, you know what I'm saying? It was probably pre who. And so what I'm saying to you is, definitely without question, for those of you who are going to get married, take it very seriously. The rumor has it now that ladies just want to get married to say they're married, but they don't want to do the work. I don't know whether that's the men too. I hear more is projected about what the ladies are, but men too. But men, you must take it seriously too. Just because you got it. I overheard one time. Hold on. Hello? Yeah. Thank you. I overheard one time where a woman had said to this other woman, well, when I get married, he can just leave me on the beach and go where he wants to. And I said to myself, yeah, that marriage is going to last a long time, So you got to take it kind of seriously, folks. You got to really show it the kind of respect that it has. This is one of the oldest institutions in the world, the institution of marriage. Yet in this country, marriage seemed to have the highest rate of divorce, the highest rate of separations, and the highest rate of drama in the family courts. And everybody's making money with the couple being at each other's throats. So I'm saying that we need to examine these things, all right? So that's it. And I'm going to move on to my comments. But again, I do want to thank King Simon, who's sponsoring the show, and Jazz Aphrodite, who's sponsoring the show. Jazz Aphrodite will give you her, send the link to how you can sign up for her class next Tuesday. But she and King Simon are sponsoring the show for the rest of the week, and she's also sponsoring it on Monday too. So I thank them very, very much for sponsoring. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. For those of you who married, and the couple, because because sometimes y'all will say about the marriage, like with my buddy Stephen and Carol Williams in Chicago, they're both water signs. So I wondered if they got married in a water period, such as around late January into February for Pisces, late June into July for Cancer, and late October into November for Scorpio, which are water periods of the year. Or did they meet on a watery day, such as Monday, which is governed by water? Because each day is ruled by an element in nature. And by the way, speaking of that couple that got married on July 24th of 1939, it gives me a clue as to two things about them. And I'm going to look up their birthday if I possibly can, because the date of the marriage tells me they were either a Cancer, Taurus, or Libra, or born on the 6th, or the 2nd, the 6th, or the 7th, the 11th, the 4th, the 15th, or the 16th, the 20th, the 24th, the 25th, or the 29th of the month. Can I prove it? No, not yet. But if I can get a hold of those birthdays, believe me, I'm going to bring it up to you, because there is no accident on the time we do things. And the fact that they got married on that month, day, and year of 1939, the year of the master number 22, and have been married all this time. That's why I'm telling you, I doubt very seriously if anybody's viewing this as 84 years old. I mean, it could be, but that's why I was saying that they were married as long than most of the people viewing this show. And so that just tells you something, okay? So anyway, so Stephen, if you can give me the date you and Carol married, that would be good. And all right, so let me see. We're gonna do here. Okay, this person, Mel Brown, says been married once, but would love to try it again. Now, here's the thing. She is a Taurus 7 person. Okay, that means she's an earth sign with a water number. So therefore, her best months would always be late late February into March, late April into May, late June into July, especially late September into October. So I'll be curious as to when she married, or did she get married on a date such as the 2nd, the 6th, or the 7th, the 11th, the 15th, the 16th, the 20th, 24th, 25th of the month. Now, she said she got married that time. Okay, good. So here it is with Stephen Williams. I got a little carried away with the lady who got Mel, who married on the who's born April the 25th. Well, those would be the best times. So for you, those are the best times for you in terms of going down the aisle, which is late February into March, late April into May, late June into July, late September into October, and try to get it. Don't forget, the months represent the physical attractions when we feel comfortable with each other. You know how they say, they said, you know how you meet somebody for the first time, it's like you've known them, you feel comfortable with them. And then there are other people you meet for the first time, they ain't say nothing, but you ain't just feeling them. We all give off an aura. We all give off an energy field. Call it whatever you want to, which is why we can feel it. But the month represents the physical attractions, but it is the date of birth that represents the mental attraction. So you're on the same page. So in this case, they got married on May the 24th of 1989. Congratulations to you. So what that means is they were married on a, they were married on a 2 universal day. Yes, they were. Don't take my word for it. Do the math yourself. 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 9. I think it says 10, 20, 30, 37, 38, if I'm not mistaken. But I know this. I just shortcut it. They married on a 2 universal day, which is a watery day. Okay. And it rules a sign of Cancer. So that I think is interesting, which is Stephen's sign, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks, Stephen, for that. Because it ain't about putting your business in the street, but it's just trying to, trying to see how I deduce things. And this is how my students are. And I've got brilliant, brilliant people that I've been blessed to teach and blessed to. And actually, in every one of the cases of my students, I learned a lot from it too. All right, so here we go with Cheryl Robinson. She is born November the 13th of 1958, Whoopi Goldberg's birthday, among other people. But anyway, it tells me that this particular year for you coming up is a year of change. You're heading into a 5 personal year. You're also in what is called your 52-day critical cycle. Now, I will discuss that one day. The Rosicrucians used to call it the Rosicrucian cycle. That's also in my book, Numbers in You. And the Rosicrucian cycle breaks it into 7 divisions. Each division is 52 days in length, which is a total of 7. Well, coming back around to the birthday, which you are right now, Cheryl, you're in what is called your 52-day critical cycle, when things begin to more tear down or break down than rise up. So therefore, this would not, if you're going to do anything important, surgeries, I tell you, if it's elective, which means you got a choice about doing it, wait until after your birthday. Because on the day of your birthday, November the 13th, that starts the brand new 52-day cycle again. And the first 52 days from the day of your birthday moving forward, the next 51 days is called your reputation cycle, which means whatever you get, whatever you want, you get. Okay, I'll put it like that. All right. You do attract odd and unusual relationships, though. So I would say in your relationship experiences, there've been cases where sometimes the person you got involved with, only after the fact, you could have done better. And I'm not talking about hypergamy or whatever these fancy words they're using, because see, you have a soft spot for the underdog, the less fortunate. Okay, so you may have got somebody that caught you on a day where that bad luck story was working, and then you said, you know what, I hear it, but like, you got to get up out of here. All right, anyway, okay. Anyway, so Jazz Aphrodite is going to be giving her her link to join that workshop on the 31st. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, let's see. Yes, cool artist. I see you, artist. Ace, you artist. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Can you do a reading on my birthday? It is with pleasure. You are an earth sign. Now, here's how it works. The 2, 1 plus 1 is 2, which means you'd be an earth sign with a water number, but the number 1 is fire. So this is why it's considered a master number, because it's not just 1 1, it's 2 1s. So this explains, so therefore, if you were to get married, all right, the best times would be for you would be between the periods of late April into May, June, July, September, and October. Those would be the 5 months, and do it on a Sunday, not a Saturday. The months to avoid, if that were the case for you, would be the months of January, April, and November. Y'all leave that to somebody else. But for you, those are the better months for you. Okay. And this particular year that you're coming in is a year for new starts, new beginnings, new directions, new opportunities for 2024. So it means this is a time where I like to phrase it. This is in one cycle. This is when I phrase it. You step out on faith. There's something that leads you to become more independent, more self-reliant, things of that nature. And normally this is when people start their own businesses, go into business for themselves, heading a new, changing a career, something of that nature. So all of that will be part of your numerical frequency for the year coming up. And because Virgo is a health sign, and if you add 11 or 2, which is a health number, I know you're probably very finicky or fuzzy about your eating habits and your dietary laws as well. All righty. Okay. Let's see who we got here. Let me go back this way. Okay. CEO. CEO is born on March the 5th of 65. All right. So they will be a water sign with an air number. And if they did marry, because they're born in 65. So let's say if you did marry, more than likely, you probably married somewhere around late February, March, late April, May into June, late August into September and October, and late November into December. Those months are probably more the months if you did get married on one of those days. Or you may have gotten married on the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, the 12th, the 14th, the 15th, the 21st, the 23rd, the 24th, or the 30th of the month, as these dates are matching your key numbers from the birthday you just gave me. But whatever it is, this year is a year where you're going into a cycle where you want to not be bothered with a lot of people. You just want to be left alone and don't be working my nerves or whatever the case is. All right. And your key numbers, by the way, are the 5, 6, and 3 without question. All righty. Let me see this person here. Okay. Abantu Mandinka is June 18th. They are a air sign with a fire number. So let's say if they ask me, Lloyd, what would be the best day to get married? Well, from this birthday, you should pick all dates such as April, May, June, September, October, November. These are your power months. And I'm willing to bet you if you are married, more than likely, you probably got married on one of those months. But I'm going to say more. I will narrow of the 6 down to 4 of them, which would be April 1st, followed by June, November 3rd, followed by September. Or you may have gotten married on a date that adds up to a 5 or a 9 or a 5 or a 6, as these are your key numbers. But for you this year, you're going to head into a midway point. You're heading into a 5 personal year. So 5 is a cycle where you're at a crossroads where you got to make a decision which way you want to go. Turn left, turn right, keep going, back up a bit, go down the next exit. That is the point. But it is normally changes where you want to make your life more healthier, more better, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Those are the things you want to do. And since 5 is, since Gemini is a travel sign and 9 is a travel number, and then you're heading into the year of a 5, which matches one of your numbers. So that tells me the next 2 years are going to be very important for you. But this year coming up, if you got a trip to go here and go there on the drawing board, that would not surprise me at all. Okay. All right. And you know what's interesting about Stephen? 6 is one of his numbers, and I see they got married on the 24th. Okay. Let's see. This is Coco. All right. Now, Coco is born September the 18th, a female in a relationship with an 1111 male. All right. Now, had this been a 2, like the 2nd, the 20th, or the 29th, I would say there's going to be a little testy there. All righty. However, because this person is born on the 11th, which is considered a master number in numerology. And so, yes, 1 + 1 is 2, but it's a different type of 2. If you notice the other 2s, 2 and 0, you got that. 2 and 9. That's why of all the 9 series, this is the one where it's the contradictions, danger from plans, all that other stuff. But this 11 is made up of 2 1s. So that would be an exception. I want to get married one day, but it doesn't feel like it is a part of God's plans. Well, that all depends. It all depends on the attitude. If, in other words, you know, my grandmother would say one time, you find what you're looking for. If you're not looking to get married or don't expect to get married, then you know, a lot of times when we speak what we speak, it becomes self-fulfilled prophecies. And it's not that you can't get married. It's just maybe who would be the better choice per se. And in this case, I know the C's younger, but that's typical for Virgos because they normally attract those younger than themselves. And looking at the birthday, this person you have an interest in may have a career or occupation where he wears a uniform like law enforcement, correction, the military, construction, fireman, EMS, mechanic, machinist, toolist, whatever the case is. But for you, the year you're heading into is a personal year, which is definitely a marital cycle. So let there be no question about that. The year that he's heading into is a year where he wants to expand, he wants to grow. So y'all are going to be kind of on a different level. And it's not that you can't, but here's the thing. For you, your best months are always, for those that you feel comfortable with, are always in April, May, June, September, October, November. He fits that bill. He's in one of your months. So that would explain the physical attractions. It is the date of birth that represents the mental attraction. So therefore, the preference would be the 5th, the 6th, the 9th, the 14th, 15th, 18th, 23rd, 24th, 27th of the month. He doesn't fit the date bill, which means y'all feel comfortable in each other's space, but mentally there may be a couple of questions. And oftentimes when I'll ask a person, especially a woman, give me your best girlfriend's birthday, almost always they're coming out of one of their months and also one of their dates, which means not only do they feel comfortable in each other's presence, but they seem to be on the same page when it comes to conversations and way of thinking and feeling about things. All right. So that's it. So I wish you all the best. And if you want to get married one day, you should. That should be your focus. Why not? But let me tell you this, the courtship ritual is one thing, but getting married is the work. And that couple you just saw, and I'm going to show it one more time before we leave this show tonight. 84 years. Don't think they did not have to put in the work to do that. All right. A lot of women and a lot of men would be bored overnight. Well, I'm bored. I'm just, y'all don't have a clue. And then we want to know why divorce is so high in this country. It's not a surprise to me. It's really not. It's our attitude of going into it. But if we can take from the philosophy of our elders and take those vows, I'm not talking about prenups and how many prenups you can sign. And for this, if I make all this money and all this stuff, but I'm talking about for better or for worse. There's a reason why they said for better or for worse, because there are going to be some worse moments, for richer or poorer, and sickness and in health. Those are the main three, pillars of it. You can do that, you got a wedding. So obviously they've matched it, because you can't tell me in 84 years, as I said, they didn't work each other's nerves. He worked his, she worked his, or he worked hers, he worked his. And so, but you know what? They went through it. That's the beauty of for better or for worse. And yes, and these are the tenets of God, shall we say, or those who made these marriage vows like that. But anyway, I wish you all the best, Coco. Really, really, really. And the focus should be on marriage relationship instead of the ceremony. I would say also to a degree, you're earth sign and water sign. Earth and water work well together. But he has a lot of ones in his birthday. 11/11/1987. One is a number that indicates that he can be very selfish. He's got too many ones not to be, well, what's in it for me? I marry you, what am I going to get out of this? Okay. So he is just as being true to himself as you have to be as true to yourself too, if that makes sense. All right. Thank you. 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 All right. Now this person's an earth sign with an earth number. So if they would have asked me, Lloyd, what is the best time to get married? I would tell them January, May and June, September and October, and on a Saturday. That's what I would tell them. And especially if it could be on Saturday the 8th, Saturday the 17th, Saturday the 26th. And a year, this of the 8th, like next year. Not that I'm trying to start anything, because 2024 as of 28. But that would be a good time. And by the way, from your birthday, you've always felt comfortable with much older relationships. So if the person is about 10, 15, 20 years, even older than that, that would not surprise me in the least, because 8 is the old soul number. And even the month you're born in governs the number of maturity. So you've always been mature coming out the womb, but you tend to be misunderstood. And the more people get to know you, the better they actually love you, because people think you're kind of distant when you're not, kind of cold when you're not. It's just the opposite. Warm and loyal, very faithful, very dependable. And when you feel that God is on your side and you're right, you're not budging. That's the only time you kind of get into a stubbornness about you. But those would be the best times. And this year, since the year coming up is the year of the 8, and you being a 7 personal year, is going to allow you to really get your act together to figure out what your needs are to do the things you have to do for yourself. But right now, you're still in a 6 personal year. So it means dealing with home and family. This is Frida Darby, okay? And she is May 10th of 1943. So if she married, for example, I would say the month she probably married was in and around February, April, August, or November. Probably. She probably married on a Sunday rather than a Saturday too. Or married on a date such as the 1st, the 4th, the 9th, the 10th, the 13th, 18th, 22nd, 27th of the month. These are all dates that add up to the 1, 4, or 9. I left out the 28th, 27th, 28th, and the 31st. Okay. So And Jazz Aphrodite says people are marrying on weekends now to save money. I would imagine so, Jazz. But you know what's interesting? Now there's church weddings and then there's civil weddings where people get married at City Hall. True, people get married every day of the week. But years ago, when I went with a friend who was getting his marriage certificate and stuff, and I happened to ask the clerk, what's the day that most people get married here at City Hall? She informed me it was a Friday. But that makes sense because Friday, each planet rules a day. The planet Venus, which governs marriages and home and family relationships and love, beauty, and balance, rules Friday. So it made all the sense in the world to me. And I would imagine that no matter what state you're in, if they're getting married at City Hall, 9 times out of 10, it'll be probably on a Friday. All righty. Okay. Now, I like this one. Greenwich says, Barbarella Greenwich says she got married September the 9th, and I have been married 37 years, and they are a Pisces. Okay. Here's what it tells me. If you are a Pisces, Barbarella, now one of the opposition months to the number 3 or Pisces is around September. So when you married on September the 9th, not unless your birthday, you're born on the 3rd, the 6th, the 9th, the 12th, 15th, 18th, 21st, 24th, 27th, or 30th of the month, that would offset it. But I would say on the day you married, although you've been married successfully for 37 years, it was probably a little challenge on that day in that month that you got married, leading up to it. A little drama. Somebody didn't like the husband. The husband's family didn't like you. Boy, marriages is something else. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I'm glad you are, and I'm very happy for you. Good. And again, a lot of people don't even want to be together 37 days, 37 weeks. But what you gonna do? Anyway, this person is Ryan Miles. Okay, they are February the 5th, and I guess the other person is September the 8th, 88, 82. Here's what that tells me. The common denominator that you'll share. Remember, when I started this show, I look for the common denominator you'll both share. Your key numbers are the 5, 4, and 1. Their key number, Ryan, are the 8, 6, and 5. So 5 is the common denominator between the both of you, which means you may have met on a Wednesday. Why do I say that? Because 5 rules Wednesday. Or you may have met around late May into September, which rules the period of the 5. Late May into June, which rules the period of the 5. And late August into September, which rules the period of the 5. Okay. So I don't know. I don't say whether you're married or not, but if so, I would use either June or and May is challenging to you, but January, May, and October are challenging to you, but yet they're very nice to your lady. So if you're going to go down the aisle, make it June or make it September, and make it on a Sunday for you. Saturday, she may want a Saturday because 8 rules Saturday, but Saturday's not one of your best days. So, I mean, since you might be anyway. So Sunday if you can, but if not, since women, this is their domain and this is one of their proudest moments. If she say Saturday, say, you got it, boo. Ain't about fighting her. Do you want the woman or not? Okay, it's just that simple. So anyway, that's how I see it. But y'all are different though. Mentally, y'all are different. The birth dates, because the opposition number to the number 8 is the number 5. 5 is a free spirit. 8's are very conservative. 5 can be impulsive. 8's are steadfast. So you'll have totally different mental energies of how you'll deal with each other. That's all I'm saying. And look at it. She's born in 88 too. So she's got all those 8's up in there. So she's very, very conservative. And just because she is, that doesn't mean that, she doesn't have her fun part and stuff like that. All right. So let me do with this one. This is Demetria. She's born December 4th of 71, married this July 11th for 25 years. All right. So it all depends on the year you married, although I can't deduct that right off my head. But it tells me that the person you married could have either been born on a 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, the 10th, the 12th, the 13th, or you got married on one of those dates. But I tell you this, you do like to be different. And it's interesting, see, because you're a fire sign with an air number and you got married in a water period. Okay. So I don't know what the circumstances are, and you didn't give me the mate of the person you were with for 25 years, Demetria. That would probably help me. But whatever it is, I don't care what month and day you married. The fact that 25 years, that still says a lot. But don't 84 years look like you just getting started though? You got to admit, can't nobody walk around with some bragging papers like that. We've been married 84 years. All right. So I think it's very, very nice. Alrighty. Okay. Please click the like button. Don't get my moderator upset with y'all. She don't play. All right. So that's all I'm saying. Okay. So, okay. And she's, by the way, I expect Jazz Aphrodite to give a link to her workshop on Tuesday the 31st. Please make sure you are in attendance. Okay, this is Karen Adams. She says her birthday is January 25th, which makes an Aquarius, 49. Her husband is a Leo, which is 47. They married, and see, they married on the birthday because with her numbers, see, her key numbers are the 7, 2, 4, and 1. Her husband's numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. So therefore, air sign, which is her, I think is interesting that you married on his birthday. Okay. I bet you'll never forget your wedding anniversary. You'd be surprised when you ask a man, well, what day y'all get married? They be scratching their head. They'd be like, do you really have to ask that question? Women, they know when they met us, guys. I'm telling you, they know when they met us. They can almost tell you what we was wearing, those funny looking socks that day. They just, that's what they do. They call us hunters, but I call the women the gatherers. They gather information. They'll tell you lying about your age. They'll tell you lying about the address where you say you live at, what you got going on. I tell guys, there are women that are slow, but trust me, in my many years of doing this, I've never met a stupid woman. They always find out. How y'all do it, ladies? God bless you. That's all I can say. So anyway, and it's interesting because remember I was telling you your numbers, Karen, are the 7 and the 2. If you notice when you got married, it was in the year 2009, which adds up to an 11, which adds up to a 2. So it was his month, his day, but it was your year. So I'm glad. I'm very, very happy for you. Okay, Karen. Thank you. All right. This is Crypto Queen. God bless you. She is a Libra 8 person. She's going to be going into the year of the 8. She's going to be going into a 7 personal year next year. So right now she's in a 6, which governs with home and family relationships, adjustments, appearance, things like that. Probably going to school, become a work in progress, and definitely did your hair at some point this year where you restyled it, reshaped it, or something of that nature. But anyway, your key numbers are the 8, 6, and 3. All righty. Now, this is Taga Stegel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, if you were to get married, I don't know when you married, 2001, you now 20, you will be 22. So maybe you're not married yet. If you were to get married, when you decide to get married, since your numbers are the 1, 4, and 3, it tells me your best months would always be February, March, April, August, and December. And you should get married on a Sunday, especially like Sunday the 10th, Sunday the 1st, the 10th, the 19th, or the 28th of the month. Okay. And your husband should be kind of coming under one of those months. See, don't forget the months that are, so for example, since your months are February, March, April, August, and December, let's say you met a person born in one of those months, you notice right away, you just feel very comfortable with their energy. That's the first choice. That tells that's the physical attraction that we have for each other based upon the months we have. But it is the number, the mental attraction. So let's say you met a person born April the 4th. That tells me physically because he's one of your months, and mentally because he's one of your numbers, because your numbers are the 1, 4, and 3. You will find that you get along with them. You could be the birthdays of your best friends. Almost always they'll be matching your month you were born. I mean, one of your best months that from your birthday and one of your best dates. Okay. So that's it I see there. I know this. Whoever marries you, you're no joke. You speak your truth. And in fact, I would say your challenge has been that the guys or whoever you're dealing with will say you kind of bossy. You're trying to tell them what to do. But since you're number 1, I would interpret it as, hey, yo, this is how I roll. And you speak your truth. So you don't hold back anything. And people think you're cold. You're not cold. It's just that things got to make sense. Okay. This is Chanel. Hello. I would like advice when it comes to marriage of 4888. I've grown mentally and emotionally. Yes, you are, because Leo is a late bloomer. Four is a late bloomers. With four people, normally their lives start turning around between about their 31st birthday. So looking at that, you about 88. So you're there. You're there, I do believe. And so therefore, when you get married, look for somebody coming out of the months of February, June, August, because your numbers are the 4, 1, and 5, and September. So once I know a person's numbers, I know the months that they rule. February, then April, that's complementary to the sign of Leo, then June, that's complementary to the number 4, then that's August, that is your birthday month, and then September, which is complementary to your number again. Those would be the months that if you can find somebody coming out of one of those 5 months, they would do better for you, where you feel very comfortable with them. When you go to bed at night and get up in the morning, you don't feel like it's kind of like a disconnect. And especially if you can get them born on the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, the 10th, the 13th, 14th, the 19th, 22nd, 23rd, 28th, or 31st of the month. I know I'm talking kind of fast because that's how things is in New York. People got to keep it moving in New York, okay? But I'm saying that to say if that's the case. Now, since you are going into the year of the, let me see, 3, 7, 7. Actually, you're going into a relationship cycle. Actually, to be honest with you, you're going into a cycle of relationships. So I would expect something to be happening around about, let's say, April. Yeah. Then in April, that'll be a 6. April, May, June. Definitely June. I definitely keep June on the radar. It's interesting that these months will be important, June and September. All righty. So I wish you all the best. And your key numbers again are the 4, 1, and 5. Okay. All righty. So let me go to a couple more since I've got just a couple of minutes left. Um, this person says they've been married, motivate 224-7. They've been married for 3 years, never once had an argument. My birthday is 7. That makes sense to me. Her birthday is 9/18 and hers is 11/27. Well, that makes sense. If you notice, they're both born in 9s. One is born on the 18th, one is born on the 17th. I would say when they first met or went out on a date, even if he don't know, he would estimate they probably met on a Tuesday, late Monday night and a Tuesday at some point. Or they may have met initially around late March going into April, or late October going into November. So since these 2 months rule the period of the 9s. And also they didn't say when you got married. But yeah, there's no reason to have arguments. No. I mean, listen, there are times we're not going to be on the same page. But because you're not on the same page, that don't mean you go home to your mother. Okay? Or you mean, I got to roll up out of here. I got to go entertain myself somewhere else. I think that's great. So imagine that couple that's been married for 84 years. 3 years, you're going to have differences of opinion. That's how it is. There are going to be some days that are sunny, overcast, stormy, and that goes with the territory. Only in the movies do they live happily ever after is something that's really not real. Okay, that's why it's fairy tales. Okay, but the reality is, I'll tell you this: he is a fire sign. No, mine is. Oh, she is a fire sign with a fire number, and he's an earth sign with a fire number. So you got that fire number in common. All righty, and his birthday is in 88. She's in 92. Yeah, she would like older men, definitely without question. But she's a fighter. But both of you two would be unstoppable if you guys are on the same page. That's for sure. Motivate 24/7. All righty. So 24/7, that means he's on it. That's how 9s are. And you got the perfect person. By the way, she's very smart, because the compound number is called the royal scepter, one who succeeds as a result of their productive intellect. So you got a smart sister on your hand that you married, brother. Okay. So please don't underestimate her thinking, because if not, you might get your feelings hurt. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, let me take one more. This is Srivi, March the June the 3rd, trying to narrow down my options. Okay. She's got two options. One is October the 13th, and then she's got one, bless her soul, that's January the 26th. I will say this, ladies, nothing personal. Majority of my clientele for decades have always been women. I rarely meet a woman with just one option. Rarely. I don't know what that means. I hate to say all of you, but almost all the women I've met at some point, they have more than one thing going on. So at least you're honest about this, okay? So let me explain how I see it. First of all, you are an air sign. First person is a air sign. The second person of choice is also air sign. So they're all air signs. You're a Gemini, and the other air signs are um, Aquarius, which is January 26th, and Libra, which is the 13th. So your key numbers, though, are the 3, 6, and 5. And the only one that comes closest to me would be the one October 13th, because their numbers are the 4, 1, and 5. So that one, but I will say this, in both cases, you actually get along better with the number 8. So it's one thing. So I'm looking at it, and I can see why you're in a kind of like which one should you narrow it down to. But 8s and 3s get along just like that. They really, really do. And in fact, the rule is the only two numbers that an 8 gets along with is a 3 or a 6. All right. 4 is moody. Both of these are kind of like misunderstood numbers, 4s and 8s. They like to be low key, things of that nature, where 3s are normally bubbly, outgoing, sociable, friendly, personable, things of that nature. So you got a choice, but I tell you this, the one on the 13th tends to be just the opposite of what you want. The one that's on the 2016 to be a little bit more conservative about the way they do things. All righty. So whatever it is, I wish you the best, because you're heading into an 8 personal year, which is marriage. So since you're heading into an 8 personal year, I would say your cards are going to lean more with the one that's born on the 26th of the month, because they too are heading into an 8 personal year. Well, with the person born on October the 13th, he's heading into a 4 personal year. And since 4s and 8s will clash, I would say you will probably wind up settling for the one January the 26th. That's all I'm saying. All right, everybody, I want to thank you very, very much for this. This was fun. I wish I could read everybody. Okay, hold on. I do want to thank Brandy for the donation. She is January the 17th. Date she married January 27th. But that makes sense because Brandy is born on the 17th. Her numbers are the 8, 9, and 6. And if you notice, she got married on the 27th. 2 plus 7 is 9. The husband she married is born on the 13th. So this is but if you look at the year 2020, it matches his 4. So I do thank you. And so his numbers, by the way, are the 4, 1, and 5. So if you ask me, do you have numbers in common? The answer would be no. And if you ask me, Lloyd, would this be a marriage made in heaven? I would say no, but you'd have to work on it. And when I say no, not in a bad way, but if you think everything is peachy cream, and they live happily ever after, y'all will have your moments. Let there be no question. And if you understand that, then everything is fine. This is Karen Adams. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you very, very much. And I wish I could read everybody, but and Jennifer Kirkland. Wow, Jennifer, thank you. Jennifer is the mother of my goddaughters. She has blessed me with 2 beautiful goddaughters, which is Sarah and Selah. And it's interesting, Jennifer's born on the 23rd. Sarah, the name Sarah is 5 letters. The name Selah is 5 letters. Okay. It's very, very interesting. And I was blessed to see her on Saturday. And when I was out in Brooklyn, it was a packed house there at 1396 Nicholas, Brooklyn this past Sunday. And she brought my girls, and it was nice. It was very, very, very nice. And me and Sarah, we like that. She's about 4 or 5 years old, but we like that, Selah, she's just about 9 months out, so she ain't there with me yet, but I'm gonna get to her too. All righty. I call her Miss Poker Face because you never know what card she's holding. God bless that little soul. All right. And thank you, Jennifer. We love you too very much. I love all of you. I'm very blessed. Not only did her first daughter, they want me as a godfather. When they had me when Selah was coming up, They said, we want you to be the, I said, of 2. Did you check with Ricardo or Ricky, which has 5 letters in his name too, by the way? And she says, yeah. So I take my role very seriously as a godfather. I really, really do. And thank you so, so much for that, Jennifer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. And Miss Polite, 7. Now, this is a water sign with a water number. So she should get married around the months of March, May, July, and October. These would be the better months if she decides to get married, or if she's already married. It might be there. She should get married on a Sunday rather than a Saturday, or on a date that's the 2nd, the 6th, the 7th, the 11th, the 15th, 16th, followed by the 20th, 24th, 25th, or 29th of the month. And if you're not sure, let me know. Okay. So everybody, I got to get off here. I could really do this. And Jennifer just says, love you, Lloyd. Rick and my god babies are watching, especially little Sarah. That's the oldest one, but she be waving at the TV at me. Mwah. Bless you, little Sarah, with your pretty self. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very lucky. So everybody, I do want to thank you very, very much. And I need to let you know. And people say, well, Lloyd, why don't you put up your banners? I'll put up my banner a second. It ain't, take notes, take a screenshot, because I don't like to keep it up there long. But this is me, Lloyd Strayhorn, astronumerologist, author. My sites is, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. That is my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Jazz Aphrodite. I'm telling you, y'all better go to that workshop, man, because she also created my star8.com. If you want to get an example of what she did to get the kind of response I'm getting now, visit star8.com and see for yourself. I'm not talking about just download the app. Look at the way she put that together, man. I mean, the woman is brilliant. So that's all I could say. So what else I got up there? Okay, let me see what I got up there. Okay. Free monthly newsletter for October, online courses, Cash App is numbers in you. And thank you. All right. Now I got that out the way. Let me say that today's show has been brought to you and sponsored by King Simon. That's my buddy. Hold on. Let me get this banner off here, so we don't leave out nothing. That is brought to you by my buddy King Simon for sponsoring the show. I love my brother King Simon. He's the best. I don't care what nobody says. Only me and his mother can talk bad about this guy. All righty. And also, I do want to thank, Jazz Aphrodite for also sponsoring the show. Now, her workshop is serious. Let me tell you, she doesn't play. And I'm telling you, if you want a masterpiece of a presentation, this is the site, or this is the workshop to attend. It's 6 weeks. And when she say workout, she works you out. She don't be playing. Okay. I took one of her numerology courses and whatnot. And in addition to that, she has a very limited amount of books left. So whatever books you got, and the book is designed totally different. I've never seen a book like this. And if y'all see my library, or will see my library, you see why this is a one of a kind in my collections of books that I have in my home. And I would suggest that anybody get numbers decoded, cards unfolded, by going to her site, Aphrodite.com, and ordering the book and get it before it's gone. I'm serious. It don't stay on the shelves long. So if you want to, and she not only discussed numerology, but the cardology that she and Nina Diamond and Aquarius Maximus do that way too. So again, this is her course. It is coming up on Tuesday of next week. Make sure you enroll. Now, she doesn't come cheap. But then again, anything worth it, I've never known is to be cheap. Okay. But I'm telling you, she did my my Udemy courses for 3 of them. She did. And she did one for Simon. And in each case, if you see it, it's always best rated, highest rated. Listen, don't take my word for it. Just invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Okay. Now, and I do want to dedicate this to this couple that had been married out of Arkansas for 84 years, possibly the longest, notice, the longest active marriage in America. Okay. And that's Cleophas and Ardwilla. I wish I knew their last name so I could look up to find out their birthdays if possible. If anybody gets this information, please share it with me. I would love to know. but there's something to the magic, and all of us have that magic. All we got to do is just be prepared to work through it. Now, y'all probably say, well, listen, but then again, the attention span in this country now is what, about 2 minutes? Okay, so that probably explains. So it would be a little challenging for most of y'all with a 2-minute mindset. Okay, so let me just take this off. Okay, and I do want to thank everybody very, very much. Okay, let me see. Alrighty. And Wednesday, I'm going to have this young lady on. Her name is Jay Ellis. She is a beauty practitioner, and she's developed some products. I've had her on my show, and in fact, I think one of her beauty products are going into the major chains or Target or something like that. So whatever it is, congratulations. She'll be talking about that on this Wednesday. Please pick up my latest newsletter. You know, it's interesting. October is almost over. It seems like I just put this puppy up here just a week ago, but hey, that's how it goes. Anyway, I do want to thank you. I want to thank all of those who signed up for my app, Star 8. And for those of you TikTok persons, I'm on TikTok if you want to go there under Numbers in You. And so there's a lot of other things. But anyway, folks, I want to thank all of you very, very much. This has been fun. Okay, so I couldn't get to everyone. But when it comes to marriage, also, if you have a date, just consult me. That's all. And I can tell you in a minute, yay or nay, give you the days and the dates and the months, and then you got your choice. At least you know. But the cup almost, I would say, about on a scale of 1 to 100, about at least 95% of the people that have come to me for marriage are still married. I guarantee you, still married. Okay. So I think that's quite a record. I'm telling you, I take my stuff seriously. All righty. Everybody, okay, I'll stop running my mouth. I'm enjoying this. Thank you. You'll all have a nice day. Until then.